100 runs for the first time in his career. Okay? So, leadoff hitters, don't forget for the Cubs, batted .212 with a .294 on base percentage, last in the league in both of those categories. And we'll see what happens. Now, over on the other side of town, the White Sox, Rich Renteria is leaning towards Tim Anderson, who led the majors with a .335 average last year, and Yohan Moncada, who was batting .315. Renteria wants Anderson and Moncada at the top of the lineup. Okay? Now, Anderson was 9 for 19, .474 with a home run, 3 RBIs. He only had 4 leadoff games last year. Moncada was 10 for 40 in 9 games at leadoff. Now, here's the negative to that. Anderson walked only 15 times last season. But he did lead the White Sox with 17 stolen bases. Moncada, who has said this year he wants to steal a lot of bases, he only stole 10. He's got a goal of stealing many more bases this year. So if you're looking at the top 2 guys of the order, and what about Louis Robert? Robert Robert, I don't know, San Luis Rey. He says, he comes out and says he would be very comfortable in the top spot. Now, it's not usually that we see a rookie bat leadoff, okay? And Renteria says he wouldn't consider Robert as of today as the leadoff guy. So for those of you who think that Robert is the leadoff man in Chicago, he's going to really seriously have to prove himself to do that in the spring. Just one thing that we're looking to watch where Luis Robert bats in the lineup, okay? Watch where he bats in the lineup. Rotorius has joined us. Good morning, Rotorius. Great to have you aboard. Guess Gemma, guess Marita, guess Roxana. The whole Robert Q. Lewis is going to be in there. We had the glasses. Remember him? He was always a panelist on some panel show. Robert Q. Lewis. There you go. George, you and I have to... we got to spend like a weekend together, right? That would be fantastic. All right. So we're just going over some of the batting order differences. One of the things we may be talking about on Sirius, all the batting order there. Lindor going to bat third. Benintendi's going to bat first. You got Trey Turner batting third. You got Robles batting first. Some very interesting batting order things we're going to cover this weekend on Sirius XM from 7 to 9 on Sunday morning, 7 to 10. The phone number, even if you don't get it, even if you don't have Sirius, you can still call in. All right? Still call in. And don't mention that you're from the chat room. All right? We don't want Sirius Radio to think all our friends are just calling in. But, we could use your call. It would make us look good. Okay? Is it possible for us to look good? So the White Sox last year used 143 batting orders. So you think they're going to stick with what they're going to start with? Anderson, Moncada, and Robert batting down? No, not going to happen. 143 batting orders. Rich Renteria is not one to fool around. Now, let's talk about 2 pitchers. Well, before we talk about 2 pitchers, let's talk about 2 youngsters that have a chance of showing up this year. And I'll tell you what, we've talked about Sam Hilliard the other day, and he's got a real chance. But we're not going to talk about Hilliard. What we're going to talk about is Tyler Nevin. Okay, so he's been working out in the off season. He's got 6'4", 225. Nevin's swing has been described as power-packed. Now, okay, a power surge by Tyler Nevin could be his ticket to the major leagues, probably in the second half of the year at the earliest. Okay, he's dealing with a slight abdominal injury. He expects to be on the field. So look at this Colorado team. They got Hilliard, they got Nevin. His father is Phil Nevin. You may remember him. So we'll see what happens, but keep an eye on Tyler Nevin. He played a career-high 130 games in Double-A in 2019. He hit 250-something. He had 13 homers, about 60 RBIs. He's right where he wants to be, but he's got to increase his versatility, okay? He played exclusively in left and right field, and they view him primarily as an outfielder / first baseman. And third base is in the mix. So perhaps that'll hold him back from making a debut this year, but you really got to pay attention to him, okay? And, all right, so he started off slowly in Double-A, finished with 588 slugging percentage, 8 home runs in his final 32 games. So it took him a little time to adjust, but just remember the name, Tyler Nevin. And we're not overly concerned about the right side of the infield. Ryan McMahon has a good chance to be an above-average second baseman. He's got excellent range. He's got some pop. Got a 280 average. He's got 25 home runs. Not out of the question. Hampton projects, all you guys with falling in love with Hampson, he projects as a utility player, including center field. The really weak link on this team is Daniel Murphy. He's got to have a bounce-back year at 279. His glove is subpar. He's the weak link to a solid infield, and we all know that Colorado, look, this whole thing with Arenado, I really believe it's going to happen. Don't know exactly when it's going to happen, but we'll see what's going to happen. Got a lot of stuff on some young prospects today, so it's going to be pretty good. Still got some more prospects to talk about, and guys that you have absolutely heard from, okay? So we'll see. All right, now, let's give a little Daz Cameron. I've talked about him a number of times. Andy and I went to Toledo to see him, and he didn't play because he was sick. So, Cameron, look, he's coming off a season that he really struggled. In 2019, he played 120 games for AAA Toledo and struck out 152 times. He only hit .214 with 13 home runs. So why am I wasting time talking about him? Because I'll tell you what, okay? He carries himself with confidence, and he got that swagger. He just, you know what? Half of the game is 90% mental. I'll tell you what. This kid really shows that he really believes he belongs, okay? And after 6 games last year, he was hitting .348, but then his hits really dried up. He tried to tweak his swing, and it didn't feel comfortable, so what did he do? He got into this thing. He changed his swing again. He adjusted his hands, and he was even more uncomfortable. He changed, and he spiraled out of control. So, if he gets back to a good start, he's scheduled to start in the outfield on Friday when the Tigers face Southeastern University. So they're trying to really give this kid a look. Okay, Daz Cameron. Now, so much has been made of Deivi Garcia from the Yankees. We got to talk about this kid because he could be in there. I mean, look, we got the Paxton out. We have no idea what's going to happen with Severino. And I think that if the Yankees offered Colorado, and I said it again, and I got compliments on this yesterday, Andujar, Clint Frazier, and Deivi Garcia, and throw in another guy, all right? At 20 years old, he's only got 6 starts above Double-A, 11 games. He's a long shot to join the Yankees starting rotation, but, because of Severino, because of Paxton. Now, listen to this. Now, he's not a big guy. He's 5'9", he's 160-something pounds. He struck out 165 batters last year, gave up 165 strikeouts, 96 hits in 111 innings. Wow. So this guy is an emerging arm. Imagine trading this kid to Colorado with Andujar and Frazier for Nolan Arenado. When it happens, etch it in your kitchen table. I had to pay for somebody's kitchen table yesterday at lunch. Unbelievable. I'm sorry if I'm forgetting everybody's name, but you guys were so... I'll tell you what, Andy and I'm going to speak for myself. Okay? one of the best one of the best afternoons in a long, long time. Great, great stuff. Jason Bass, I'll tell you something, man. I love you guys. Absolutely, absolutely love you guys. Okay? Wow, what a day we had. What a freaking day. With pizza and Jason Bass. Really respect you a lot, kid. Now, Jordan Montgomery is the favorite to take Paxton's spot. And with Severino not being ready to start the season, the Yankees might very well need a second replacement in the rotation. And look, they're high on Garcia, but he might not be ahead of Jonathan Loaizaga or even Mike King, who's someone that we'll talk about at another time. As far as Severino, the news is he's experiencing soreness in the right forearm. He'll be shut down for an undetermined period of time, and we'll see. Now, the San Francisco Giants, team I don't talk about that much, but I remember I used to draft Brandon Belt all the time. Probably the only player I ever drafted from the Giants. And look, he's always got a high on-base percentage and a high OPS, above league average in 8 of his 9 seasons in those categories. But underwhelming home run totals from the middle of the order guy. And we'll see. But here's the guy that I'm really watching this year, Heliot Ramos. And given the Giants' desire to evaluate young players at a major league level, this kid has displayed a ton in the minors. It's only a matter of time. He was a 2017 first-round choice and one of the youngest players at both minor league levels that he appeared at last year. So if Ramos could make the big leagues this year, all right, I don't think so. And the reason, he's not in big league camp. I mean, Joey Bart is in the big league camp, okay? Bart's been in the big league camp for the last 2 seasons because there's a greater need for catching depth. So they're really taking their sweet petunia time with Ramos, or Heliot Ramos, okay? So we'll see what happens with that. Don't forget, with the Tyler Nevin, look, they need a lot in Colorado. They need a bounce-back season from Kyle Freeland. They need solid performances by Herman Marquez, John Gray. They need the evolution of Antonio Senzatella, Chichi Gonzalez, Jeff Hoffman, Peter Lambert. They need reborn Wade Davis as the closer. They need a continued maturation from who? Well, what's his name? Scotty Oberg. The dark horse candidates in the bullpen is Tyler Kinley, who they got on waivers from the Marlins, or Ben Bowden, or righties Joe Harvey or Wes Parsons. So, interesting. Now, Carlos Carrasco spotted limping around the field. Yes, with Mike Clevenger already on the shelf. That's no good. Following knee surgery, we'll see what happens there. Does Brad Hand think he's going to have the same kind of success that he had in 2019? He likes to pitch, and his left arm is always just went along for the ride, as he says. Over his last 4 seasons, Brad Hand has made 283 appearances. Only Brian Shaw has made more, 285. I'll tell you something. This is a classic closer. He leads all relievers in strikeouts. And an average of 12 strikeouts per 9 innings. He opened up last season with 22 straight saves, pitched his 3rd straight All-Star game, 34 saves, a club record for the Indians by a left-hander. He blew his first save. You remember end of June against Kansas City? He had a 1 ERA. Opposition was hitting 161. And from the blown save until the end of the season, this is what happened. Hand posted a 6.6 ERA. And converted 12 of his last 17 saves. Now, he may have been tired. In September with the Indians, in the race for the postseason, they shut down their all-star closer in the middle of September because he had a tired arm. So just remember that. I really do believe that Brad Hand is absolutely turns 30 on March 30th. The Indians hold a club option for him. I really believe that Brand Hand is a trade bait, and